I am not a well-experienced traveler overall. This is probably not how a video like this should start. Maybe I could tell you how experienced I am, how many countries have I visited, and etc, etc. But instead I would say that I am not. I visited something like 10 or 11 or 12 countries, and a lot of different small cities, a lot of cities in my country. But before we click off and switch to another video, I would tell you that most of people who know me, at least once, said that I am a very experienced traveler. Oh, I travel so much. Oh, I know such a lot of things about traveling. Oh, how do you travel in such a fun way? And that's quite interesting, because I don't really put a lot of my travels on social media. I don't talk much about my travels, both small and large, both short and long. But somehow, each of my travels, whether it's a trip to a neighboring city or a trip to another country, another part of my continent, whatever this trip is, wherever I travel, somehow adventures always find me, and I always find them. Independent on with whom do I travel, where exactly do I travel, what exactly happens. Each of those travels becomes very memorable, very fun, very unusual, and I get a very uncommon experience that I don't regret about or forget at all. That's why today I wanted to share some of my experience and some of my recommendations on how to make every travel of yours special, how to develop such a mindset with which you can travel to any place you want and experience whatever you want in very different methods, in very different means. Oh, what if I have family? Oh, what if I have kids? Oh, if I have small kids? Oh, if I don't have enough money? Or what to do if I have a very small budget and I'm not really able to travel much? You know what? I gone through a lot of this. I traveled with small children. I traveled with almost zero money. I traveled for a very short and very long periods of time. And yeah, I don't say that I'm an experienced traveler. I'm not this travel blogger. You can find videos of me talking about travels a lot on this channel. However, there are different documentaries from those travels, from expeditions, ethnographic expeditions. There is a documentary film that I've made in some very small villages in Belarus, in a radioactive zone, where we came to research and to know the customs of this region better. It's one of those travels that was very memorable, that I have somewhere very close to my heart till this day. And to me, it all starts with planning. Believe it or not, your travel starts not when you take your train or take your plane or when you start physically traveling to a place. It starts a lot earlier. It starts when you just have an idea of a travel. It starts when you start to plan it. In that time, it used to be very irritating to me, because I used to try to make very difficult, complex schemes on how to travel. I tried tens, dozens of different options on how to travel for cheaper, how to travel in more sufficient ways. And I just developed a routine with which it became much simpler. Yes, I still do research a lot of options. I still try a lot of options on how to travel, how to go to exact location. I prefer to take a new method of transportation almost each time. I love trains, but I have also experienced traveling on planes, on buses, on car stopping, on scooters, on skateboards to another cities, on bicycles, by foot to another cities and villages as well, and on probably 4 or 5 other vehicles. And I often like to combine them. To plan out, I usually use handwriting. I usually write handwritten plans with exact maps. Where and how do I go? I can put different options on this map and see what is the most efficient. I will now show you a couple of those examples on the screen, how it looks like. But basically you need to imagine where do you go, how it looks like geographically or just in your mind, and draw some lines between them. And then you can see various different routes that you can take. If you travel by car, if you prefer cars, of course, viewing large car atlas or magazine with a large map
will be preferable. You will see a lot of unobvious ways that you can travel there, or some obvious ways, but with which you can also take the road a bit off and see something else, something beautiful and different. Because it's an often a thing which I see often with travelers, is that they pick their point B location where they should arrive, and they don't see what is between point A and point B. And I think that it's very important. If I travel from center of my country to north of my country, and I know that between those 2 points there are very fascinating cities, fascinating places, some natural places, and if I have any chance to visit any of these, if I have a day or some hour, or if I have a transfer somewhere, I would prefer to plan my trip the way that I can go there. When I went to the sea this time, I also stopped in a very magnificent, very medieval city called Grudens, and it's a very fascinating place. To me it was very similar to San Marino, where I was a couple of years ago, but at a very different scale and with a very different aesthetics, much more stubborn, much more firm. And to find those things is possible only if you look at the map clearer, if you try to research what is actually between your point and your destination. Even if you travel by plane, people usually disregard those cities, smaller cities, where their plane arrives or where the plane takes off. Airports are actually situated in places that have some interesting and fun things to do. And I also had this couple of times that I took off or arrived to places which were very interesting to explore. Remember, when you are planning your trip, not only try to find very different ways to travel, you may find very different means to travel. They often, the way that often makes a difference. But you should also have in mind that between your point B and point A, there is life, there are people, there are places, usually, if it's not a complete desert. But even if it's a desert or a swamp, I bet there are places to visit, and you can find them. And it may be a part of your adventure, and sometimes it may be even one of the most fun parts of your adventure. And the second thing, when you choose your means of transportation, keep in mind that the way you arrive to your destination, to point B, massively impacts how you perceive it. If you arrive somewhere by car that you drive, it's like one thing. If you arrive to a destination by car that someone drives, it's completely another thing. If you arrive by train, it's also a different thing. If you arrive by plane and you see it from above first, it's also a completely different thing. Try to experiment with those means of travel. If you usually prefer traveling by train, maybe give car stopping or BlaBlaCar a chance. I recently tried to, and I don't regret it. It was very interesting. I made a couple of I now made a couple of very good acquaintances in those BlaBlaCar travels, and it was very fun. It was multiple hour road, but it was very fun to travel. Experiment with how do you actually travel, what means do you use, how do you do transfers, what do you do on those transfers, and what is between those 2 points. That is a thing to start with. Second thing, yes, when planning, you can use those handwritten maps, mind maps. You can also use usual maps. I will probably have a tutorial on doing mind maps, since I am developing analog technologies, writing technologies for quite a long time. I've done multiple events in my city and online on this topic, and if you will ask me well in the comments, I will do a video explaining how to use maps, how to use mental maps of any place, of any territory, to your advantage, whether it's your city and plans that you have to do in your city, or whether it's travel, because I have massive experience in doing it, many years of experience, and it helps me a lot each day, whether I'm in my city or whether I travel. That's the second thing. I can now just share a couple of examples here, how it looks like, you can see, and the thing is, you should keep it clear. You should keep it free and quite clear sometimes. You may jump between these very, very clear when you have A, B, C, D, and you go straight from it to it. And you can do it in a very free way, where you can also write some ideas and thoughts just as it goes to your mind. Both of those attitudes may help on different various various different stages of planning. The next thing, when you arrive to your destination, Take a walk. I know that if you like to travel by car, you may prefer to go by car anywhere, but take a walk around, like not just in a very popular city, not just in a very popular street that you arrive to, not just from the beach and to the beach if it's some sea resort or some place where sea is, but try to add some dimension to that place. Try to understand what is there, what is at this side, what is at that side, what is here and what is there. Try to see how you can explore this place. I would recommend to start doing it on foot, though it also works when you are doing it by bike, especially if you are somewhere in a village. It also works in various different methods of transportation, but generally I advise just to walk to every side from the place where you live in, where you are accommodated. Then when you have some kind of mental representation, when you understand what happens here, how does this place look like, you can start traveling those very usual ways. Or you can start traveling those very usual ways that you plan to, and then as you get acquainted with the place, try to add more dimension to it. That may be quite an obvious thought for many, but I'm also fascinated how many people do not think about it at all and just go from their point A, their hotel, to their resort, and from resort to hotel, and then go to trip somewhere by bus, and then they return and stay on the hotel. That is how many people travel, and it also may be good if you want to have like this extreme relaxation where you don't go anywhere. I would honestly say that it's difficult for me to have such kind of relaxation. Even going here, I thought that I will just stay on a beach for some days, but then I understood that no, if I don't find adventures, then adventures start to find me. I started going different places, and we have been traveling to very different parts of this island, of this place overall. And each day, the thing is, when you have a lot of new fun experiences, if you have a lot of new fun, those micro travels, micro adventures, when you visit some small shops or small harbors or small quarters that you didn't think about, suddenly your day becomes much longer. Suddenly your holiday becomes much longer. I am staying here for now for I think 4 or 5 days, and due to amount of new experiences and adventures that I had, and I would say not 100% of them are very positive. 20% of those experiences were either very neutral or very negative. But still, I think of all of this adventure as one very giant, cool, great thing, which I will remember, which will be valuable to me, which is now valuable to me. And the thing is that when you add up new experiences, your day gets longer, your adventure, your trip also gets longer. And it's great how it extends time and how you can manipulate time that way. Even if you have like time and money only for vacation for 3 or 4 days, you can make it last much longer if you do both some things from this small guide and also things that you can find online on other resources or in books. By the way, do buy and read books on traveling. I know that it's tempting to find everything online nowadays, but it's very great to have a physical book, a physical atlas, or at least a physical map of a place where you're going, to look at it, to have it like physically. Not only will it be like a souvenir to you and you will remember this place through this book or through this map, but it will serve a very practical purpose and will help you many times. Also, sometimes your phone may be uncharged. Also, sometimes your internet may not be working, and in those cases, such a setup with a map, at least, or with a guide to a certain place will help. A tip here would be to order it before your trip, because when you come to your trip, it may not be very simple to get it, or it may be very expensive to get. But at any place that I come, at any city that I come, at least here in Poland, I usually go to tourist information, and there are usually free maps of a city. I usually take it for my map collection. I made a video about my map collection somewhat like a year and a half ago. I may repeat it because my collection got bigger, got more interesting. If you would like to see that, you may also comment. But the thing is, keep something physical before your trip to aid you on that trip. The next thing is do not be afraid to do weird things, like things that you probably wouldn't do usually. Right now, as I was going to the beach, I went into very trashy, very not great looking souvenir shop, which first glance didn't sell something that I would prefer to have. But looking through it, I found a pair of headphones, and I've been looking for a pair of headphones for last week because I crashed my previous ones, and I found them. I found headphones that are working, and those are headphones with Trolls by Disney, and they work perfectly. They cost me like €3, and they came with this case. They came with different options on plugin, and they work quite well, which surprised me. I was not expecting anything from them, to make sure that you understand that as well. And going here and going there, I often do like weird things. Go to some weird shop and buy something that I would probably not buy in another context, or travel by foot for 2 hours to a very different cities located somewhere far away on a beach line. But by the way, it's not something that I wouldn't do in usual life, but it's something that can be very good on travel, when you travel, because it's a very separate adventure. Yesterday we reserved half of a day for this going to another city. It's like 20 kilometers away from here, and we went there, and it was a very great experience. We returned back with a very small railway system, and we go on there both through the beach and through forests. And in this short way, in this short travel, we experienced like 10 or 11 various smaller adventures, smaller stories that we would probably remember. To finish, I would also tell you that yes, it may seem that it's about attitude, and I often say that living a curious and fun life is about changing your attitude somehow, of not being dull and not looking at things in a dull way. But I think that at least some of the things that I said today would be sufficient without even those abstract theory like changing attitude or any different like these methods on how to change yourself. I think that this may be achieved by those very practical tips and advices. Try some of these. Maybe also share what helps you on your adventures. What methods of transportations do you prefer? How do you travel? What tips do you have for travelers? What is your traveling experience? Please share any of your thoughts and ideas and experiences in comment. It's always very interesting to see those comments and to reply to you. I reply to every comment, and I reply to every comment of yours, because any comment is very valuable to me. I love to read comments, opinions, and other ideas. If you like the vibe of this video or anything that I told you, please visit the Calendly link in the description of this video. It's a short call with me where we can get to know each other, and I may see whether there are things that I can be useful in. In any case, it would be very great to get to know you better, and I think that there may be things that I can help you with, because I do not just work with handwriting technologies. I do not just develop a physical operating system that helps to live a curious and fun life, because I do multiple things in life that are often valuable to different people. For 10 years I've been doing video production. I've been shooting films, editing films, and animations and short format and long format, YouTube, documentaries, etc. But I've also have a lot of experience with artificial intelligence and projects connected to artificial intelligence. I can help you to understand how to use it in your projects to work better with texts, images, clients, etc. And of course, I can also aid you in making life more curious and fun, at least in a way I think about it. I now develop a physical operating system that is based on handwriting, because I'm also handwriting for more than 10 years. I use very different means and formats to write by hand, and I use handwriting to do most of my tasks, most of my daily tasks. I plan trips there, as you see today. I manage my finance this way. I sometimes find clients this way. I develop ideas. I write scripts. I learn. I research and do many more things in this handwritten way. In many aspects, it has replaced the phone and the computer for me. If you also would like to see how this works and how you can implement some of this, please visit this Canary link, and as I said, we can talk and get to know each other. Thank you that you watched this video till the very end. I hope some of this advice was helpful and that you may try some of it. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.